Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to have some Division 10 ranked online gameplay in the flyweight division using Brandon Moreno coming up against Henry Cejudo. And we're going to be playing a subscriber here today. Record is 7-7 going into this, and before we get into the actual breakdown of the gameplay, I just want to say a big thank you to all the new subscribers. We're on 94 at the time of recording this, so 6 away from 100. And a big thank you to you guys who have been tuning in the stream, the regular one. So big shout out to Scout and B Syndicate, Charlie, and the homie Jonathan. Really appreciate you lot tuning in. But getting into this fight here, so obviously it's the new season. Scout is in the Division 14 and coming up against the Triple C. So I know he's going to look to do really. The fight needs to get to the ground at some point. That's where, of course, Henry Cejudo is going to have the slight advantage. Although Brandon Moreno does have a very good ground game. And the main thing for me here is I'm really going to try to take out the lead leg of my opponent here, because once I break that, obviously there will be a mitigation from the power that my opponent can throw. And also throwing leg kicks can deny takedowns as well. If your opponent's about to shoot and you catch that leg on time, it will deny it. And that's exactly what I have to look to do here. But one thing that's very dangerous is that I am walking towards the fence a lot. And obviously if I get caught there, my opponent can then clinch me, take me down. If he works me on the fence, that's one thing I've got to be careful on. And being a 3-round fight, I can look to expend more energy than I usually would. So it's probably going to be quite a high amount of volume in terms of strikes. And I'm really going to look to work the body. See, I know my opponent very well. My opponent's got excellent boxing combinations, which is not ideal when I want to be in boxing range, to be honest with you. I could look to keep this at distance and hide behind my jab and really look to work my opponent from there, but my opponent's got really good boxing, so he's finding a way in. And just because of how confident I feel Moreno striking, I feel that being on the inside will actually be quite good. And here we just stuff 2 takedowns, and then we go for a takedown of our own here, which my opponent denies. And that's just what happens in high level fights. You try to take someone down, they deny. You then try to take them down and then deny. And that sequence there, this whole round, to be honest with you, has been very big in terms of morale, because as you can see, we've denied all the takedown attempts so far. I'm not sure how many there's been, but obviously we'll see the stats before the next round. But there's been a fair few, and of course this is big when I know my opponent wants to take me down. And as you see, I'm trying to chain together these combinations, trying to work the body where possible. And as soon as I get into that distance where it's safe to throw a kick, I am throwing one out there. And like I said earlier, I'm really going to look to dismantle my opponent by working that lead leg. And you see a lot of YouTubers talk about how leg kicks aren't that effective and they're not that good, but if it's something you don't use in your game, you really need to start using it, because it can be incredibly effective. Yes, they're not the greatest, right? You know, you can win fights solely off that, but it's going to be very difficult. But I think there is a time and a place for them, and that's why I'm very leg kick heavy within the fights that you see me showcase. And right here we check that leg kick, which of course comes up with a leg health event. And then whenever you check your opponent's leg and then they get the leg health event, or you kick them and they get it, they're going to look to move the body, because they're going to expect you to go to the head. So as soon as they whiff to the left or right, just throw a kick out there and just really look to damage that leg further. And as you see, I'm trying to intercept my opponent's jab with my straight. But if we look at the health stats here, you can see that my opponent's lead leg is damaged, and is something I'm going to have to build on this round. But my opponent does a good job here of getting his first takedown, so that's 1 in 7 now. And here I've just got to be really patient. Obviously, got to be careful. I don't want him to deny any transitions. And as you can see, denies half guard transition there very well. And this is where I need to just remain calm. And it's what I do. I get my denial. We go to sprawl, and I'm more than happy to sit in this position and take punches to the body for the next, I don't know, 20 seconds, depending on who's refereeing it. But I think it was Dan refereeing this fight, so he normally stands it up quite quickly. So as you can see, I'm just waiting it out here. I'm not looking to move and then get denied. And as you can see, straight onto the feet. This is exactly where I need to look to capitalise on, because going into this round, I've definitely got one round I won the first, and that's normally my slowest round. And here I'm just going to look to build on top of that. But I went for a body strike there and accidentally shot a takedown, which my opponent denied very well. And now it's just about damage mitigation. I just need to be careful. I don't want to get worked too much. I don't want my opponent to start draining my stamina. And one thing with Henry Cejudo that, you know, he's showcased is, especially in the fight against Dominic Cruz, was his leg kicking ability. He's got very good leg kicks, which is why I was expecting a more dominant leg kick heavy approach from my opponent. I knew my opponent was going to wrestle. I was expecting less of a boxing heavy approach, to be honest with you, but my opponent's doing a great job with boxing. Like I said, I know this guy is a very good boxer, so it was to be expected. And right now he's really pressuring me. As you can see, there is a stamina difference. If you look, my opponent's definitely got the stamina advantage, but when it comes to landing the more meaningful strikes, at the moment I'd say I was having the better of it. But as you can see there, the combinations that my opponent is throwing now, ripping me to the head, ripping me to the body, and it's really doing a number on my stamina. So it's something that I am cautious of, but like I said, I'm just trying to remain calm. As you see, he's breaking my block now. Fortunately that head kick didn't land, otherwise I would have been in big trouble. And sometimes you've just got to let your opponent pressure you for a bit. You've just got to clear the cobwebs, and that's sort of what I'm doing here. My opponent's just doing a great job. As you can see, the combination is really flowing. This is exactly what I didn't want to happen. I really wanted to be controlling the fight like I did the first. But as you can see, my opponent sort of stopped going for these takedown attempts and solely started focusing on the boxing. But we did land there, we did get a stun off, and we pressured. So that was just to get a bit of confidence back in and to show my opponent that, look, when I do stun you, I will go for broke. I will try to get you out of there. But with 7 seconds left of this round, it's fair to say that I'd personally give this round to my opponent. I'd say it's 1-on-1 going into the final round here, but you can never really know how the judges are seeing the fight. But I'd have it 1-on-1 going here, so we both need to have a big round here or look for a finish, and a finish is exactly what I'm going to look for here. And my opponent's starting off extremely aggressive. Obviously he knows he needs to win the round, and he's making all the right reads at the moment. As you can see, intercepting me well, great boxing combinations. And as you can see, I went to the leg there, I can see it's flashing, and that's exactly what I'm going to keep going for. I know his legs really hurt, so I'm going to look to target that area. I'm going to keep the boxing combinations quite short. As you see, I'm starting to pick up here on where my opponent's swaying the combinations he's throwing, and we've just done great work there. Done a number of good strikes, landed clean, and as you can see, resulting back to going to the leg. And I'm starting to make the reads, the necessary adjustments here. As you see, I'm throwing the jab out there and then following with a hook, and it's the hook that's landing at the moment. And then when I do get my opponent hurt, I'm going to the body when my opponent sways back expecting an uppercut. And because it's something I noticed in the first one, I threw the uppercut, my opponent swayed back, so it's something I was trying to avoid doing here. And as you can see now, right now the fight's more 50-50. My opponent isn't just teeing off on me, going off on these beautiful combinations. I've earned a bit of respect back from the last round, because the last round, I'd say my opponent done an amazing job in. Goes for the big head kick there, which lets him down. We go to the leg, then we go to the head, and that combination there was very good. I shouldn't have thrown the kick there because I didn't have the stamina for it, and my opponent's head health now is just not there. So it's not going to take much for me to get my opponent out here, and this wins will come down to really eliminating that lead leg. Get the jump on top here, looking for the finish because we need it, and fortunately we get it. So that was a very high level fight against a very good opponent. As you can see, saying respect there. But everyone says that, you know, you can't use leg kicks, you can't use them, but you really can. And there's nothing worse than when I hear someone say that you shouldn't be using them, or they're not actually that effective, because they are extremely effective. That is the tool that's won me this fight, because without the leg kicks, my opponent would have ran riot. And because it was on the stance that my opponent felt more comfortable in, by eliminating it, forcing him to find another stance, the combinations are different, everything's different. So that was really the catalyst to what then won me the fight. But that was the video for today. The scorecards are coming up now, and the stats, so you can see how the judges scored it. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time.